When it comes to getting good, I was doing it long before the advent of the Souls-like. Though as time went on, I found myself falling slowly out of love with the Souls series, with one moment being so powerful that I quit Elden Ring then and there and have never looked back. But before we start the crucifixion, let me give you some context. Back in the era of the Xbox 360, I played a little game known as Dark Souls. The funny thing is that I only heard about it from a friend who randomly found it while browsing the marketplace. To say this game was niche back then is an understatement. Only a handful at best knew about it and actively played on the Xbox. This small thing would set up what I believe to be the perfect Souls experience, and one that can never be replicated again. But what does this have to do with me hating Elden Ring? It's not that I hate Elden Ring, I just hate one thing in particular. A system specifically. One that grew out of control due to popularity and soon turned into a sweaty, toxic-inducing metafest. Yes, as you may have guessed, I'm talking about the invasion system. Now, I can already see lit torches on the horizon and comments about getting good, but I believe there's a difference between getting good and becoming a slave to the meta. Traveling back to the first Dark Souls, for those of you who didn't experience it at the lowest point of its popularity, you may not understand that the invasion system was actually really fun. For me personally, I think there was mainly two reasons why this was the case. The first reason is that invaders didn't have any rights back then. They couldn't use flasks of any kind, so the power was in the host's hands if they wanted to fight fairly with the invader, which back then was done by spamming flasks until the empty emote was used. The second and most impactful reason was that being invaded was rare. I remember all the times I was invaded in Dark Souls because the emotion behind it was so strong. I never knew who was invading me, where they were, or how far I was from a bonfire. Not to mention, I could lose my souls and have to fight my way back to them if I lost. This was only possible because on average, I would be invaded once every 3 hours or longer depending on where I was. This gave me time to savor the game as it was with my friend while we both got good, and then an invasion would challenge us against an unpredictable foe. Sadly, this is no longer the case. With the meteoric rise of each installment, the time per invasion drastically decreased. Like most people, I played Elden Ring during the launch, and I wasn't able to walk in any direction for more than a few steps before I was invaded. The Souls series is known for its challenges because given enough time, you can overcome them. It seems people have forgotten that's what getting good truly is. This isn't the case with invasions of this magnitude. You can never overcome the challenge of a player who is allowed to invade you constantly. It's an unbearable and insurmountable problem, not a skill issue, because against what's essentially a Zerg, you can never win in that scenario. This doesn't even add the fact that FromSoft over the years kept giving invaders more rights while taking everything away from the host to protect themselves. A few notable systems would be the invader's inability to use a flask and Seed of the Giant. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoy PvP. I did a lot of it in Dark Souls 3 because red signs exist, and any systems incorporated into that side of PvP is totally fine. So I think it is fair that red sign summons are allowed to use their flasks because they are invited by the host. What I'm not a fan of is giving another player the power to ruin someone else's experience, while at the same time stripping them of any means of opting out or defending themselves against a player who is only invading with the intention of ruining said player's experience, especially considering there are no downsides to losing as an invader. The moment I realized I was no longer having fun with Elden Ring was after I had been invaded by the same naked character wielding two katanas who spec'd for bleeding. I was just making my build on the fly, a hybrid mage. It's not made for PvP, but was a build I enjoyed for PvE. So after losing instantly over and over again, because let's face the facts, when you have a PvE build, you're not going to really win in a PvP scenario. So unsurprisingly, I lost instantly over and over again. At a certain point, I got fed up and deleted my character with the intention of copying his build. In that moment, I felt that in order to even play the game itself, I needed to play a meta build. That was the final straw. Elden Ring stopped being a fun, tough RPG. It was just another competitive game. And if you want to win, you have to play the meta. I'm sure there's someone out there saying how I could go offline, but my friend and I play this game together, so that was never an option. Now, I don't want to make this video too long talking about how the invasion system is just a means for toxic players and hackers to destroy someone's experience, or all the ways to fix invasion, because the fact of the matter is that it'll never be improved. I just wanted to make this video to get this off my chest, as it's a series I've enjoyed for a long time, but have accepted that it'll never be what it once was. And that's okay, but something I'm no longer interested in. Who knows? Maybe years down the line I'll revisit it and be able to enjoy the world as it was intended, with two lowly tarnished trying to get good. P.S. I do know about the seamless co-op mod. A lot of the footage that you saw was recorded while I was playing it with my friend, but we still had a bad taste in our mouth for the game and just kind of drifted to other games. So we haven't revisited it just yet, but for anyone who is interested in playing with their friend and not having to suffer through invasions, then definitely check out the seamless co-op, which I will link in the description down below. Either way, thanks for watching.